It is Chad here from GadgetGuruHD.com, and in this video I'll be comparing the Nexus 7 2013 and also the Kindle Fire HDX. Now both the Nexus 7 and Kindle Fire are top of the line tablets, but there are some major differences between each of these devices. Now we're going to start this video off with the software, which is one of the most notable differences between these two tablets. The Nexus 7 runs the latest version of Android, 4.4 KitKat. Now what's fantastic about Nexus branded phones and also tablets is that they will always be the first to be updated to the newest Android versions, while other devices like the Galaxy Tab lineup and others will receive the update several weeks or maybe even months later. In addition, Nexus users receive a bit of a better and also different experience, which is known as stock Android, which is essentially how Google envisions Android to be. 4.4 KitKat is a bit of an overhaul and is generally cleaner, with new icons that replace the older black color design. The Kindle Fire HDX runs the latest version of Kindle Fire OS, also known as Mojito, which, believe it or not, is actually based on Android. However, looking at the tablet, you would have actually never guessed it. I've been using the HDX since release, but it's a bit tough to get used to. I find it a bit confusing, and it definitely lacks the functionality of Android. However, it isn't really all that bad. This new version of Kindle OS keeps the carousel, which is a pretty convenient idea and lets you swipe through all of your content and applications. Also, with this ultra-fast processor, I haven't noticed any lag going through Silk browser or playing any graphic-intensive games. There's also this really cool and unique feature called Mayday, which allows you to get your hands on support in only seconds on the HDX. So this pretty much means that you can connect with the technical supports any time of the day, year, or at just about any time. It's a really cool feature for those that are just getting started. Speaking of games and applications, the Amazon App Store isn't anywhere near as polished as Google Play's or Apple's App Store, but it is getting there. What really bothered me was not having basic applications like Gmail or YouTube. For some this may not be a huge deal, but most of the media consumption I do is based off of Google services, which aren't really that great on the Amazon App Store. And the operating system of the Kindle Fire HDX is something that you're definitely going to want to strongly consider before purchasing it, because it's going to be a huge shock if you're coming from an Android or iOS device. The building quality of these two tablets are actually surprisingly similar. Despite the extremely low price tag of both of these devices, the Kindle Fire HDX is really solid and well built. The back has a really nice matte rubber type feel that's very similar to that of the 2013 Nexus 7 and also the newly released Nexus 5. However, I do still have some minor gripes with it. For some reason, Amazon opted for a glossy finish around the side of the tablet, which looks a bit weird and makes it kind of look a little bit cheaper. Also, the device feels more square than rectangle, so it is a bit tough to hold and use the tablet in one hand. The Nexus 7 2013 is actually pretty easily holdable in one hand due to its taller and less wide form factor, and it may look a bit funny like that, but it's about more function than looks. And then when it comes down to the actual size comparison of the two, they are actually quite different. The Nexus 7 2013 is 200mm tall and 144mm wide, while the Kindle Fire HDX is 186mm in height and 128 in width. Now the HDX is actually slightly thicker than the Nexus 7, and it is honestly a bit noticeable when trying to use the tablet in one hand. As far as the weight, they're pretty similar, with the HDX outweighing the Nexus 7 by 10 grams. The display on the Nexus 7 is stellar, as it's actually 1920 by 1200 pixels, but the screen on the Kindle Fire HDX is also superb. The screen is ultra crisp and high quality, and you won't be disappointed, and it's honestly really tough to find a true winner here. Both devices come in a single black color, and they can be purchased in 16 and 32GB variants, and also cellular models are available. But you can also purchase the HDX with 64GB of internal storage. And something that's really cool and something that you really need to consider about the Kindle Fire HDX is that you can actually purchase it with special offers for $15 less, which puts added on the lock screen of the device. Now for $15 more, I would go ad-free, but it's definitely something to consider if you're really on a low budget. Now when it comes to a tablet or really any major purchase you make, price is definitely going to be a factor. And to put the prices into perspective, you can purchase a 64GB LTE cellular Kindle Fire HDX for only $409, which is only $9 more than a baseline iPad Mini 2. So yeah, compared to the iPad Mini 2, both of these devices are extremely inexpensive. Now, something that has really confused me with the HDX is the button placement. It's completely weird. As you can see here, the power button and also the volume markers are on the back of the tablet, which in my opinion is absolutely a horrible idea. Now, I understood with the LG G2 having buttons on the back, but I just don't understand it with a tablet of this size. Now, the Nexus 7 2013 has the power button and also the volume markers on the right side of the tablet, which makes sense, easy to use, pretty simple standard device, and I prefer a more simple button layout like that. Having buttons on the back, especially on a tablet, doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, moving on to the battery, I was impressed with both of these tablets and was able to get a couple days on both the HDX and Nexus 7, but I did notice that the Nexus did a little bit of a better job with battery. Honestly, battery really shouldn't be a major concern with either of these tablets because they both are really superb. Also, for those that didn't already know, expandable storage isn't available on the HDX or the Nexus 7, and the backs also are not removable. Now, both the Nexus 7 2013 and Kindle Fire HDX are extremely powerful. They feature the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 that performs extremely well. Both of these two devices offer superb and super smooth operation of their operating systems, and they're easily capable of multitasking plenty of apps and handling graphic intensive games. Now, overall, they're both really great and each in their own ways. If you're already into the Android ecosystem, I would say go Nexus, but if you're really heavy into Amazon services or you're a fan or have used the Kindle OS before, go with the HDX. But for me, and probably most of the world population would say the Nexus 7 is a better tablet for what they do and what they use, but it could be different for everyone. Anyway, I hope this video helped you all out in deciding between these great two tablets, and if it did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. I'm Chad from GadgetGuruHD.com, and I'll see all of you in my next video.